Hey guys, welcome back to the Bingkai podcast with me, Roy. And in today's episode, we have a really special guest joining us, Chloe Qisha. Her newest single, I Lied, I'm Sorry, is out now. And if you guys haven't listened to it yet, you absolutely should listen to it. It's incredibly catchy, and I must say, it's really amazing. We're thrilled to have the singer-songwriter herself with us today. Hey, Chloe, what's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How about you?
Yeah, it's morning here in the UK. It's supposed to be summer, but it doesn't feel like it.
I know the UK is always like that. I know that.
Literally, you can just never tell what's going to be the weather when you go outside, but keeps you on your toes, so
Yeah. Now, before we chat deeper into the song, I want to start by congratulating you on the release of "I Lied." I'm sorry. I absolutely loved it. It's just a total chef's kiss. It's amazing and it's incredible. And
thank
yeah,
you so much. Thank
I'm
you.
so excited to talk to you about it in particular, and of course about you. But now, can you please tell us about what "I Lied"? I'm sorry is about.
Amazing. It's actually about like teenage love, teenage angst. I draw a lot from sort of like the adolescent years and like growing up, especially in high school, just because it's such a like a wonderfully messy time in everyone's life. And I think everyone kind of universally experiences it as well, where like you might have a crush on somebody, but you might not be able to like let them know, or it might not be reciprocated in any way. So yeah, the song's basically about that, like having a crush on somebody and wanting to show them, but really like not knowing how to. So this is just like the person's thought process that you're hearing in the song. So yeah.
And where'd you get the inspirations to write the song?
Well, it's actually interesting because I think me in my like mid 20s now, I like protect my peace a lot. So like not very much happens in my life right now. So my inspiration just generally I love to draw from like like teen years just because I think I was such a different person back then, and
Yeah.
again like kind of like messy and a bit complicated, and I just think it's like a well of inspiration that I will never stop drawing from because yeah, it was great times.
And then yeah, how would you describe the song in three words or maybe in three emojis? Emojis. I don't know. Up to you. In three
Ooh,
words or in three emojis?
in 3 words, probably like embarrassing a little bit, but I'm gonna say hot for whatever reason, and also yeah, a bit angsty. Yeah, just like those would be my 3 words. I can't really think of the emojis right now, but definitely one would just be like the heart, the regular heart.
Ah, yeah. And your previous song, VCR Home, it's it's different from this one, but how different is it that how different your approach is when you wrote VCR Home and then you came to write this? How different was it for you?
Yeah, it was super different. VCR home video is definitely more like personal and intimate. It's about like not just my own relationship with my parents, but also just like general commentary on like parental child relationships and how that changes over time. And
Yeah.
it wasn't drawn from like a specific instance. I just remember feeling the feeling and then going into session with my sort of collaborators, and they love the idea because obviously it is again quite a universal experience that
Yeah.
a lot of people feel. And that took like a couple months to finish actually. Like we sort of came in, wrote the chorus, and then me and Rob, my primary collaborator, came back to the song a couple months later to finish it. So it definitely took some like time to sit and
Yeah.
like, you know, to think about the lyrics. Whereas I Lied, I'm Sorry was written in like 2 days. It was very,
Oh,
very fast.
wow.
And yeah, it was just it kind of just came pouring out of us, which was great. And I think like the best songs are quite fast for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Great. That's cool. And then I saw a Spotify. ad on my Insta a few days ago while scrolling, and I came across a post of yours showing a glimpse of behind the scene during the making of the music video, where which I found really fascinating. You know, like there's this mini drone following you as you ascended and you danced and moved around. Well, then I stumbled upon an article on the internet saying that the video is intentionally made to look like it's from the perspective of an insect, which of course we see throughout the video. You know, can you talk to me about the process and what inspired you to take this approach, and you know, like the process itself? How is it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. So the idea actually came from our creative director, Lily Iger, who's just absolutely incredible. And she also happened to direct this music video. And she sort of pitched the idea to us because I knew going in that I wanted to dance, and that was my only sort of
Yeah.
rule. I was like, I have to be dancing in some sort of capacity. I don't dance. This was my first time dancing,
Oh,
but I
wow.
wanted to like challenge myself because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just such a danceable song. And yeah, so she pitched the idea of like, why don't you dance in a stairwell? And we have this sort of motif throughout this whole project, which is a fly,
Yeah.
which will be explained a little bit more lyrically in later songs. But she was
True.
like, "Yeah,
Spoilers.
we're gonna film this with a drone, and the drone is gonna be the fly." And
Ah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was it was interesting. It was a really, really taxing, exhausting day. It like almost broke me, but it was worth it. Like the drone got stuck in my hair at one point. It took like an hour to get the
Wow.
drone out of my hair. It was an experience, but I think like looking at the music video now, I like don't even remember how like exhausting it was because it looks incredible, and that's the main thing.
How did it even get stuck in your hair, the drone?
Honestly, like the stairwell was so like it was actually a lot more narrow than it looks on the video.
Yeah.
And with the drone, apparently if it flies too close to just anything, like a wall
Mm,
or just like myself, for example, it
yeah.
gets sucked in. Like the the like propellers just yeah suck into anything that it's close to. So unfortunately, the drone operator flew it a bit too close to me and it just got whipped up in my hair
Oh my
basically.
God.
Which was it wasn't painful. It was just like it was just funny. And I just remember sitting there being like, what have we done? But yeah, it was all worth it in the end.
Was the MV really shot in one continuous take though, or were there any hidden cuts to achieve that seamless effect? Because it really is seamless, I would say, and it's incredible. But maybe you could give us a little bit inside of it.
No, of course. There definitely are some hidden cuts in there. I'm trying to remember which like where they are in the shots. So we actually filmed it in both. So we filmed like for half of
Mm.
the day in sections, and then for the other half, just in case those hidden cuts didn't work, we did a few takes where it was just one full take.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think I'm glad that we did the hidden cuts way because then we could choose like the best performances out of
yeah.
each section. Because I think by the end of the day, I remember doing the one takes and I was just exhausted because by that point
Yeah.
I had been dancing for 8 hours up like
Oh my
six
God.
flights of stairs, just over and over and over again. And I was like, I'm not giving anything. um, but yeah, that's a great question.
Well, I mean, for the first time dancing, and it is so good. You look natural dancing, and then it's just so good, and it's so cool. I would say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, when you write songs, and especially maybe for this one and your previous song, VCR home video, what becomes your main priority? You know, do you focus more on like expressing your own feelings, or do you how would I say it? How do you usually put secret messages behind you know, like behind the songs?
Ooh, yeah, great question. I think we do focus a lot more on the meaning. Me and my Rob, my main sort of collaborator songwriter, we're both quite big on lyrics, and
Yeah.
I think getting the right lyrics across, especially in like mainstream pop, is becoming more and more of like a challenge, I think, because there's
Mm.
so much pop out there, and you know pop has also been around for so long, everything's already kind of been said. So you kind of
Yeah.
need to find a weirder, more interesting way to approach songs about love or songs about heartbreak. So we do spend a lot of time on that. But recently, especially with a song like I Lied, I'm Sorry, we focus more on the actual like sonics of the song and the groove. I think like nailing down the production and making sure that that's like inspiring enough to then write something with is our main priority
Yeah.
right now. But it varies from session to session.
Great. And you yourself have a degree in psychology and communication, right? How does this background of yours impact the way you create songs, especially when it comes to like connecting with your audience and conveying emotions through your music? I mean, do they influence your songwriting process, the themes you explore, or how you connect with your audience, and in at some point?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was like both of those degrees feel like 1,000 years ago. I'm like so grateful that I did it, obviously. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
Especially the psychology degree, just because like at that point I was pretty hell bent on becoming a therapist. I didn't know that music was even an option for me. But I guess yeah, the psychology degree definitely because you just learn about people and humans and supposedly how their mind works, and that's definitely helped obviously inform writing about myself but also other people. But I think overall, like being in higher education for so long definitely instilled like a really strict work ethic in me, and
yeah,
that's like something I could never have learned if I had like dropped out of school and had just like done creative stuff. Because I some people are really good at doing that, but just me personally, I need like regime and I need my life to be a little bit more organized. So it's
yeah.
definitely translated into music really well. That like work ethic, I've like definitely pushed myself a lot more. So that's good.
That's great, and that's good. Uh, so you were born in Malaysia, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
And now you're
Yes.
living in England.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you? Where are you in the UK? I mean, are you in the south or are you in the north? Where are you? Are you in London or are you somewhere else in
I,
the UK?
I am in London. Yeah.
Oh
When
wow!
I first moved here, I moved to a school in like Cambridge. So I
Oh
finished high
yeah, yeah.
school here. And then yeah, and then I moved to London for uni, and I just like stayed on basically.
I mean, it's London. I mean, it's always been great. It to be in London.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely wouldn't have gotten into music if I wasn't in London, to be honest.
Mm. And how is it pursuing your music career in England in London?
It's honestly, yeah, I mean, I think I've been super lucky with the people that I've met along the way. And like I said, like I wouldn't have gotten into music had I not been here, just
Yeah,
because I feel like most of the people and most of the opportunities that really sort of moved my career forward have been because they have been based in London. So it's been great. And I think like the music scene in London is, obviously huge, but it's also still quite like a relatively small industry in comparison to somewhere like LA or, just like the
yeah.
US in general. So it still feels like a community. I feel like you still end up knowing quite a few people along the way, and it doesn't get too like oversaturated, which is nice.
I want to ask you though, do you have any favorite spots in London or favorite place in London or maybe a favorite city in England in general? Do you have any favorite?
Ooh, yeah. I favorite spots in London always to do with food. So when
Yeah.
I'm craving Malaysian, I usually go to a Roti King, which is in like just outside of Euston Station.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
always a
yeah.
queue, like always a queue. But I just always I think for me they do the most authentic roti canai there, which I'm obsessed with. Um, and yeah, I always really enjoy the parks. I love Hampstead Heath just to like walk around. It
Yeah.
feels like a little oasis in London, which is very bizarre. You don't feel like you're in London. And then Favorite cities outside of London. I've not actually been to many cities, but outside of London, but I do love going to like the beach in the
Oh yeah,
UK,
yeah,
which sounds
yeah.
really bizarre because the beaches aren't great. But some there are some sandy beaches, and there's actually something very like charming about them. Like
Hmm.
you'll go have fish and chips, and then just like sit by the beach, which is really, really nice. So yeah.
I mean, you should go to. I mean, you should go to Whitby. They have like this very good fish and chips called. I think in the Magpie. I think it's called Magpie, the restaurant in Whitby. It's like up in the north of England. It's really good. You should try that. And it's
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, you should try that. It's just
I'll be writing that down because I also want to explore more of the north for sure. So that's always a really great excuse to go.
yep. You definitely have to go to the north. York is great.
Sure.
Well, uh, growing up, do you have any artists or musicians that you really looked up to?
Yeah. Growing up, I actually just listened to a lot of what my parents played, like in the car. And a lot of that was just a lot of like 80s music. So
Mm,
a lot of like the Bee Gees, a lot of Motown, like Michael Jackson, Diana
yeah.
Ross, and my mom's like favorite band ever is Tears for Fears. So I grew up with a lot of that, and also what my brother was listening to because he's a bit older than me. So he was listening to a lot of like Talking Heads at the time, and like dabbled in Linkin Park and all of that kind of stuff. So it was a real mix, but I'd say overall it was like the big like 80s pop bands and artists.
And yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that from my parents as well. But is there any particular artist that you'd like to work with in the future or that you wish you could work with them? I mean, could be anyone really.
Yeah. Ooh, there's so many right now. There's so many like such incredible, cool artists, especially in pop. Like Sabrina Carpenter. I've like mentioned her
Oh,
so many
wow.
times recently because
Yes.
she's absolutely slaying everything. Troy Sivan, who I've been
Troy,
a fan
yeah.
of for forever, and I literally just went to his concert the other day, and I like lost my voice the next day because of how much I screamed. Or yeah, Chapel Rowan is also killing it right
Chaperone.
now, and
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with every inch of her. So yeah, I think yeah, those three I'm really excited for.
And what are your hopes and dreams for the future? I mean, both professionally and personally.
I hope to just continue to be doing music in some capacity. Like
Hmm.
I'm sort of giving it everything I have right now, and that's the most exciting time, I think. And I have an amazing team around me, and I hope to be performing more. I hope to be actually performing to like a bunch of people who know my songs, which is very exciting. And yeah, just to make like a career out of it, which is very fun. And hopefully, not fall out of love with it in the process, which is going to be an interesting balance, but I'm excited for it.
Okay, that's really sweet and really, really great. Well, that's a perfect way to end our talk today. I've really had a great time talking with you. I'd love to have another fun conversations with you again sometimes in the future. And after you release all your songs and maybe an album, I really can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to many more of your songs. And yeah, again, congratulations on I Lied, I'm Sorry. It's really amazing. And I really, really appreciate you coming by here to talk with us. And yeah. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you so much. I've had a great time.
Okay, thank you so much. And for all our listeners, remember our podcast is just a click away. Chloe, best of luck for everything, and I hope to talk to you again very soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys later in the next episode. Take care. Cheers. Bye.